Good evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Today we have on Lorraine Lewis of now Vixen, but for so many years it was in my mind as Femme Fatale, but it makes sense. It really makes sense. It's a good fit, you
It's a
know.
great fit. Thank you. I'm honored and happy to be here, and really happy that we finally organized this
I
to get
know
together. It's been a couple of years in the making, I think.
it has, but it was a fun surprise in the email. I was like, oh, but I'm ready to roll. It's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
But it's been a crazy couple of years, with this the apocalypse we've had here. So it was kind of getting back in a groove. So I thought we talk about. I know besides Vixen, you have your own separate company. I want to talk about that, some of your projects, and we'll don't talk, of course, what's going on with Vixen and your music career.
Yeah, so let's talk. Do you have any specific questions that you want to hit me with first?
Well, let's actually start. Well, in the meantime, because when you were doing your original band, you had like another side project, another you kind of playing out, but was it a weirder time for you because like the industry is kind of weird and wonky with your band and well, most bands. I almost gonna preface this by saying I think on some level, COVID has changed the 80s, 90s rock world again. Like it even made it better because the packages and the tours, the enthusiasms, there's less people, the fans are more excited. You
Yeah.
know, it
Yeah.
feels like it's a good time for rock because a lot of people can do these nice, well-paying flyout gigs where you're not stuck doing like 10 towns in Idaho and get nothing. And then, you can fly out to one good gig.
Yeah, I will say joining Vixen has been just like cherry on top of my life. Um, I'm really, really happy to be the lead singer of Vixen and love the girls so much. We are having a blast. I've been now officially the lead singer of Vixen since 2019, so that feels really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though COVID, et cetera, the fans are hungry and they're excited, and that
Right.
is what is important. So we are happy to be back out on the road. We have lots of dates this summer, so we're stoked.
Yeah. You're actually coming, playing near me, very near me. You're a town away in July 9th. You're
Yay.
Enfield in Connecticut and the Green with
Yeah,
Autograph and Slaughter.
we love those bands and we love that venue. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on this summer. I mean, we head out next weekend to St. Charles, Illinois, and then
Mhm.
we're in Oroville, California. So it's really interesting. We're going to go boom,
Who,
boom.
who's plotting that?
Um, I go where they tell me to go,
They're
and
flyout dates, so it really doesn't matter on some level because you're just flying anyhow.
exactly. So I'm excited about that. And then we do have a stream of dates in all of June and July.
Mhm.
We have a 5 date run, five like in a row. I think it's like
Oh wow.
24th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 29th. So I'm excited about that. It's been a while since we've done so many in a row. So we're here for it. We're excited.
Now the challenge is to perform at that level that many times. You know what I mean? And you haven't been. I know it's been kind of weird for some singers coming out and being like, "I haven't sang in a while. Keep your voice, strong." Is there anything you can do special or any kind of challenge for you or?
Well, it's always challenging, and especially because I'm such a talker. And whenever we are on the road, the girls and I have so much fun. It's like a big slumber party. So there's lots of talking, lots of fun, lots of laughing. Um, so I have to be careful to not over
Right.
talk, and especially when I meet the fans and the friends of the band, because I just am so grateful that people flip and show up. So I'm like always just like, or there's someone from Facebook or Instagram that
Yeah.
messaged me and there they are right there. And, so I like touchy feely. I like belly to belly with the people. It's very important to me. I love the people that come and support. So I have to just be careful to be able to turn it off
Mhm.
and not talk. And that's a trick that I learned from Robin Zander when we were on tour with him many, many years ago, that he doesn't talk during the day. He would write things down. And so I don't know if he still does that, but I learned that lesson.
Maybe
And
just doesn't like anybody around him.
it
I
could
can't
be,
talk. I'm saving my voice.
might not have wanted to talk to me,
Oh,
but
come on. I'm sure it wasn't you.
but it's something that I'm conscious of and aware of, and I have to get a lot of rest. And daily, even now, before I head out, I mean, I do a vocal walk every day.
Yeah.
I live in Palm Springs, and I just moved here in December. And every day, it's hotter than hell right now. But at about 7:30 every night, I put my beats on, and I've got my phone, and I've got my stuff, and
Yeah.
I go in the neighborhood and I do my vocal warm-ups for a good half hour, 35, 40 minutes. And when I first moved here and started doing it, it was really weird and funny because people would just look at me like, what is going on? And then there were a group of little boys, like maybe they were 10, 11, 12, and they made friends with me. And one day I was walking around doing vocal warm-ups and they came up with their bicycles and they were like, "Are you in choir?" And so I said, "No, I'm not in choir, but I'm in a rock band." And they were like, "What?" So I pulled up on my phone the Vixen page and
Yeah.
they were blown away and they're like my neighborhood buddies now. So
That's
it's very
awesome.
cute. Yeah.
Well, I can see it's the challenges of maintaining your throat, not being, because it's a tool. You get sick, or you even dairy, or you have to do all kinds of things to avoid.
Tired. Well,
You
I
know.
don't drink. Yeah, I don't drink dairy. I'm pretty close to being vegan, but like even now, like today, I'm vocally tired because I've been doing a lot of interviews today,
Mhm.
and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, to be honest with you.
Ah,
And so sleep and rest and chill is key for this stuff. But I'm excited. I'm
well,
excited.
it's good. I mean, you finally get to do. I mean, how many gigs have you done since you with the band since COVID? I mean, it's only been kind of a
Well,
weird.
2019, I think we had 24 to
Okay, so
20.
you got your toes in the water, kind of.
So, yeah, that was a great run. And then I mean, 2020, we did Monsters of Rock Cruise, and that was it.
Yep.
Um, and 2021, I think we did maybe 18. So, we're getting back. We're getting back. It's been good. That calendar, and on the website, there's a certain amount of dates, but we don't
Mhm.
release all of the dates at once until we get a thumbs up from our booking agent and our
Right.
manager that the venue is announcing, etc. So, it's all a timed kind of thing, but there are many more dates than are listed on vixenofficial.com.
That's cool. So you're actually, so it looks like you're doing like a package, but you're doing some packages and some stuff. You're doing your own separate flyouts, right? Because like I see you guys doing autograph a few things. Like it makes sense that Jimmy Bell is an autograph. Jimmy actually lives in Connecticut also. He's a he's a hometown guy.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that autograph plays there, or any of his bands, many bands he does. But you're on a bill with them on a few gigs, so at least I saw on the site.
Yeah, we've done a lot of shows with them. Slaughter, Queensryche, even Vince Neil in
Mhm.
2021. We did lots of shows with Vince. Um, so, they package these things together. And I think when we're out in St. Charles, we're going to be with how do you say that? Lilac?
Lila?
Yeah. How do we say their name? Lilac Band. The family band?
No, I don't.
Oh, they're amazing. They do like Ronnie James Dio, Rainbow. Like they're amazing. They're a family of brothers and sisters. Um,
Really?
oh, you must know who this band is.
I may have known. I don't know. I mean, lilac or family. I don't know. That's weird. I generally have a lot of knowledge, but that's
I think that they were on. They weren't on American Idol, but they were on.
it's Lilac Family Rock Band.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
Lilac,
yeah.
Lilac Band.
They're great. So we'll be playing with them next weekend, and we've done a
Look
few
at
shows
them.
with them already.
Look how cute they look. They all look like little rock and rollers, like a rock and roll partridge family.
They're amazing.
Are they? I'll check them out.
Don't let the looks fool you.
I don't judge anything. I'm the
They're
guy. I say you can listen to any music you want. You can listen to Slayer. You can listen to Hanson. There's no music to be ashamed of. The world sucks. Music is for everybody. So I support everything. But but it's
yeah,
so cute to see little leather jackets and stuff.
they're
That's,
amazing.
that's awesome. Got their little font, their rock and roll font. That's awesome.
Yep.
I will check them out after.
Yeah.
But it's neat that you have some of the gigs that are overlapping. And so you've been doing the album, but also before we touch that, you have your own business. How are you? And this always makes me really brings the question of how you find a balance, because you have a full career. And a lot of musicians had to change careers and been very successful in another one, but to be a 9 to 5 and then go, well, I can go rock and roll now to keep the business going. It's weird. It's a challenge for
Well,
artists.
a couple of things. I do not have my own production company anymore. I had the production company with my business partner back in 2014, 15.
Mhm.
Enjoyed 3 seasons of Ex-Wives of Rock on Slice Network in Canada and Access TV here in the States. When that wrapped, I really didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I wanted to stay in television. And my husband was working at a company called Renegade 83. They're famous for the survival show called Naked and Afraid on
Oh
Discovery.
yeah.
Very, very big brand for the company. And I started working for them 7 years ago, which is amazing. I have my own office with my colleague Jillian. We have our little names on the door, have a beautiful little silver velvet couch. It's very cool and very rock and roll. And yeah, I love the company. They're very good to me. My boss, the head of the VP of talent, his name is Mr. Peter Higgins, and he gets me. And he understands that I am a performer and a rock and roller, and he allows me to have this amazing life that I have, which is, I do the fly out dates, and but I'm not going to kid you. When I am in the hotel room, I'm working. I'm
I believe
tasked.
it.
It's constant, and sometimes I will stay an extra night at the hotel instead of fly back. If it's a work day, I'll stay one more day
Hmm.
to make sure that I'm working and
Yep.
really get ahead of the ball so that I don't drop the ball, because I feel very grateful and fortunate that I'm able to do both. Yeah.
Well, it's worked out well too, because I mean, the whole world works remotely, so everybody understands that it's not, oh, I'm really working from home. Yeah, right. No, like everybody realizes you can work from home for
Yeah.
real,
The
or on your
cat
computer, anywhere.
the casting department, we kicked ass during COVID. I mean, and actually the conversation, the offices are starting to open up, but he came to us and asked myself and Jillian, how do you feel about coming back to the office? And it was like, well, yeah, I mean, that's fine. But how it's kind of going is, he said, we proved that we can function away from the office. So he said, I'm happy to leave things as they are. So I am too. So for now, I stay put. If they want me to come in for a day or two, I'll do that.
Hmm.
But right now, it feels good to still work from home. I really enjoy it. Less traffic time, less on the road time. You actually get way more done, in my
Yeah,
opinion, by staying put. You
I
really,
find it too.
yeah, you really do.
I'm IT, so I find it very easy to just hop
Yeah.
on and get right to work. It's really easy, no traffic. Um, so in the meantime, you guys have been working on a new album, and it's a pretty big thing because there has not been a new album in quite a while,
There
and with
has
you on it.
There hasn't been, but I want to correct a couple things. Yes, there is an album that will be released eventually. However, this next month or so, we are going to release the first single. So the
Mhm.
plan is we are releasing singles first, kind of a thing. It's kind of a new approach because we're not all in the same place. And I mean, it'd be such a luxury to be in a lockdown studio for a month or two and really
Right.
do it, but we don't have that luxury. So because we were kind of waiting for that to happen, we decided, let's just get the ball rolling. And so we did. And I was in the studio about 5, 6 weeks ago with Fred Corey laying down my vocal track. Bass and drums were already done. Britt goes in this Wednesday to lay down solos.
Yeah.
And Julia and Britt did background harmonies about 2 weeks ago. So it's coming. And we had a huge photo session in Nashville with the legendary Mark Weiss, specifically for the release of the single, as well as a plethora of other amazing photos that we're going to be able to use now that we have Julia in the band. So we have all the media ready to go. I can't wait for the song to be done. I can't wait for people to hear it. It was a blast working with Fred. He's the real deal.
He's awesome.
I haven't worked with a real producer in a long time, and he pushed me. He was fun. He wanted certain things to sound a certain way. He would ask me, are you smiling? And I'd be like, no, I'm not smiling. He's like, I want you to smile, because he can hear it. He can hear everything. And he gave me lots of feedback and comments and compliments. And I had a blast, and I can't wait for people to hear it. And I can't wait to work with him again. So
How was the songwriting process done though? Like who's doing what in the band? You guys doing separate songs or?
we do everything. We all write. We collaborate. We work with outside writers. We don't have. There's no strict formula. Um, and I think partly because we don't have the luxury of all of us being in the same place at the same
Right.
time. So we've all brought different things. There's another song that I'm hoping that we're going to record with Toby Wright. The band liked it a lot. I worked on that during COVID, and so I presented it, and everybody loved it. So Britt and I worked with Toby Wright about 3 months ago. So once we release this first single, that one will probably be next.
So I'm not following. So not everything's recorded yet, right? You still recording as you go,
All of the for this one particular song, everything is done
but other
except
songs like so you have more to finish. So you're in a process. Is what you're
always in
saying?
the process, always in the process.
Okay.
But the song that we're getting, that's going to be
Yeah.
after this first one is ready to go. It's arranged. It's just a
Mhm.
matter of lining up studio time and getting in there with Toby Wright.
I asked only because I've heard the same phrase used by different people, and sometimes it means the album's done, but then like one person has to do this, or that it means totally different every time I've heard it. I'm like, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, no, no, nothing is done until it is in
Done.
your hands.
I get
That's
that.
when
Okay.
it's then we know
But
everybody's done their stuff.
the model, I think it feels like a lot of bands are doing the singles at a time, which is kind of good actually. Kind of get all your singles out. By the couple of them are out, by the time you have time, the audience knows what you're doing. It's working.
Yeah, and one of the things with Vixen is, Vixen is really known for the stacked harmonies, the layers of harmonies,
Yep.
and that's something that we will stay consistent with. And it was amazing to have Julia and Britt do those background harmonies a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't a part of that process at all. I asked Fred, "Do you want all three of us?" And he said, "No." He's like, "I just want your vocal front and center, and I want the other girls to do their thing around you." So yeah, I'm
Seems almost
excited.
kind of weird though, because you recorded obviously with the other band, probably as a band. It's like most people did at one point. So now to do it, whatever he's in his head, you're just kind of following along, not seeing the pieces put together while you do it. I mean, clearly
It's
he's doing a good job, but you know what I'm saying? Just weird.
Uh, I wouldn't say weird. I would just say different and unique, and it's just the process. Everybody's busy. Everybody has a lot. Like we don't have that
Oh
luxury.
yeah,
Of, let's all go in like the '80s. So
right.
however it gets done, it doesn't matter to me as long as it kicks ass. That's all I'm here for. Is I want it to kick ass. I want it to resonate with people, and I
Mhm.
can't wait to do it live.
When you first came into the band, what was the? I remember there was like I didn't hear anything, and then all of a sudden it was announced. Was there like a big delay between the two, or how they even come in? I mean, because what makes sense is they obviously you're in the band because it's like when there's certain bands of the 70s or the 80s when members come out, but it's like somebody else, friends of the band or whatever, it always makes sense. You're like, well, that's a perfect replacement. They're almost the same type of music. It just makes sense. They're friends. They probably toured on set packages together. It just, you know, so it just feels like it was very seamless. It was just one day it was like new singer.
Well, that's amazing. I'm glad that it felt seamless. It wasn't that seamless on our end. Um, it was, yeah, it was a phone call. I had told my our booking agent, Sullivan Big. I had called him. I think it was a Thursday night. I called him and I said, I'm ready to call it a day with Femme. I love the girls. We've had a blast. It's been a 7 year run. We've done great shows. Everything has been great, but I'm just done.
Right.
And the very next day, Roxy called me and said, and I told her the same thing. I just called Sullivan last night and told him I'm done. And she's like, "What do you mean done?" I said, "I'm done." She's like, "Done, done?" I'm like, "Yeah, done, done." She's like, "No, you're not." And if you know Roxy, no one can really say no to Roxy. So we talked it through. I talked it over with my husband, and we decided go for it.
Yeah.
And why not? Um, and it was announced that I was stepping in, and I was greeted very, very favorably. Um, and it's been really fantastic. I will say, I'm I'm not I'm not the other singer. I'm me.
Well, that's the
So
whole point.
yeah.
There's,
So in the beginning, it was a little like, whoa, what's happening with the friends and fans of the band? But I will say, I mean, it's been really, really, everybody's been very, very warm and welcoming. And people show up at the shows with Femme Fatale memorabilia and things for me to autograph.
yeah.
And that feels really good. We do two Femme Fatale songs in the set when we do a long set, and the fans know the words, and it's kind of amazing. And it's a really good moment for me because I love Vixen and I love doing Vixen.
Hmm.
And I do my best to honor the vocal as good as I can. I mean, I want to keep the legacy alive.
Right.
And I'm just so lucky that I get to also do me and do Femme Fatale. So it's a kind of it's the second song in the set is Waiting for the Big One. And it just, we come out blazing with Vixen and then hit him over the head with Waiting for the Big One. And then we kind of settle in. And then I get to come back and do Falling in and Out of Love later
Yeah.
in the set. And it's kind of a reset moment for me and kind of a spotlight moment for me. And it feels really good, especially when the fans know that the song, what the song is, and they get excited when they hear that keyboard patch, and they know the words, and that's just really
Well, that was a pretty big song. I mean, I don't know how like numbers went, but on MTV, I mean, I'm 51, so I mean, that was a pretty big song that summer when it came out. It's not a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. It
So,
got a lot of airplay. Waiting for the Big One got a lot of airplay as well. So yeah, I mean, who would have thought that this
but
would have
"Falling
happened?
In Out of Love" is so catchy. It's like, once you hear, it, I'm like, oh, it's stuck in my head now. Like for the rest of the day, it's like one of those songs.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. That's awesome. We wrote that back when I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it was on a there was a Coors Light compilation local scene music
Right.
album that came out, and it was on that album many years ago. And then of course, I mean, it's a dear and song for me. So um, just amazing. 30 plus years later, here we are again.
Well, I think the rock fans are rooting for, the musicians that they grew up with. You know what I mean? They get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You
Why
know,
not?
they want everybody to succeed. They've had their own jobs, their own lives, their own changes. They realize it's a certain thing, and to have you come out and try to be Janet would be ridiculous. I mean, Janet, everyone's voices changes over the years. Even Janet's changed, yours will change. Everyone changes.
Of
You got to
course.
just be who you are and just,
Yes, and
honor the
and
music.
that's all it's about for me is honoring Vixen.
And at no point is Roxy going to let anybody not honor that music. So nobody has nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that Roxy's not going anywhere.
No, she's got it on. She's got a thumb on the pulse. You
She's a
know.
lifer. She is a Vixen lifer. Yeah, Roxy's everything. So to keep the legacy alive is really important to all of us, for sure.
Well, it's important because there's not as many female rock bands. So I would think to be more of them, but they're really starting. It's just not as dominating as I would have thought by now.
Yeah, yeah. There's not really a lot, especially in the '80s genre and the big hair. So, I feel fortunate. Let's keep it going.
Right. We need more rock and roll, female bands, and then mix it up. There's very few that were just all female. There's just a handful, and there still is only a handful. And I'm so happy to see them. But I think
Yeah.
actually Roxy I think is also doesn't really get spoken about as a musician. Really underrated.
Oh,
As a drummer.
yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, she has a history. I mean, she went to school for music. I mean, and Britt Lightning, same. I mean,
Yep.
Britt was almost touring with Lady Gaga. I mean, these girls are not
Oh,
like,
all of them in share too. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying like we're talking about like in the time frame of like as long as Roxy's been doing this. Like I don't hear Roxy's name as much as I should. I hear Britt coming up every now and then, up and coming, and you hear that in certain circles, but you don't hear Roxy's name very often for as
yeah,
solid as much as she's done.
yeah. She is a pioneer of rock and roll for sure. She eats, breathes, and sleeps it. And let's do our best to, you know, give her some
That's
love.
why
And
I'm talking about it right now. I'm talking about it right now because I agree. I think she doesn't get enough kudos. You
she
know,
does.
in,
She
in the
does.
rock and roll conversations.
She doesn't. But maybe this next single will change all that.
Hopefully. So, these singles is gonna be like the lyric videos. Are you gonna at some point?
We're actually doing a video. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent.
We're bringing the '80s back, man. We had a big photo session with Mark Weiss to get a lot of media, things ready for media, and also specifically for this one particular song. I wish I could tell
Mhm.
you the name of it, but I
All right.
can't do that yet. But the photo session, parts of the photo session that we had are specifically for that song. Um, it's going to be very cool. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, when it comes out, I'll promote it too. Um, I do it. Keep it short because I have a lot of interviews. But the ex-wives of rock. How did that all come about? Just in general, just I'm curious. Like, whose brainchild was that to be
Yeah.
like, there's a show here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, okay, okay.
see, basically what happened is my former business partner and I, Lisa Brucker, she wanted to write a book about my life.
Okay.
And she just found all this rock and roll stuff so interesting. And I would go to her house on the weekends and I would tell her stories because I have done some really fun stuff. And she was writing this stuff every day. I would go there, and I just got a bug for reality TV. I was like, this book thing is great and all, but how about we do this? Let's try to get a reality show going with ex-wives.
Yeah.
I thought the title was going to be Ex-Wives Rock because I felt like ex-wives we do rock.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
and it was the network that changed it to Ex-Wives of Rock. So that's really how it started. And then I reached out. I was like, we wrote a list. Who do we know in the business? Who do we know in the TV business? And one of the first people that I reached out to was Mr. Marty Callner. And I don't know if you know that name, but Marty Callner is a very, very famous video director that is famous for making Tawny Katane and the Jaguar rolling around on the Jaguar
Okay.
with White Snake. He did
Yep.
all of those. He did Rat. He did, I mean, you guys need to Google him, Marty Callner. He also has a hit show on HBO called Hard Knocks. It's
Yep.
about the football league, NFL, and he's amazing. He did both of my videos, Falling in and Out of Love and Waiting for the Big One. And I reached out to him. I was like, Marty, Lorraine Lewis, I know we haven't talked in a while, but you always loved me. And we have this, my friend and I have a show idea. And he jumped on it. And we put together a sizzle reel. We started interviewing. It was just how it all happened was amazing. I turned on MTV one night and there was Bobby Brown talking about the 80s. And I was like, there you go. I have to find Bobby Brown.
Yep.
That's what I'm going to start with. And that's who I started with. We got her. We used to do mimosa breakfasts. And we would go into West Hollywood, and there was a restaurant. I can't remember the name of it, but we would invite all these ex-wives of rock in for a breakfast brunch and drink champagne mimosas. And Bobby led to Charisse. Charisse led to Athena. I mean, it just all just clicked. It just all clicked. And yeah, I'm super proud of that show. It was amazing.
Well,
54
there was good
episodes.
chemistry though, because too, I mean, as you know, we could be all five great people, but if people don't talk or there's not a spark, it's
Well,
not going to help your show.
they were
They
real
have it.
they were real friends. Like
Oh yeah.
they lived it. Like they lived the 80s together. There's a
But they're
lot of
also like a good energy. They're very visual. It's, you know what I'm saying? You can be good friends and be like, man,
they're
it's
very
TV.
charismatic, very
Right.
charismatic. Um, yeah, and the funny thing is with Charisse was very reluctant, and I remember her coming to my. This is when I lived downtown LA, and she came to my loft, and she was like, "I don't know, girl. Like I like being anonymous when I go grocery shopping. I don't really want everybody to know my business. I don't want people to know my life, and da da da." And little by little, I just talked her into it, and Charisse kicked ass on that show. She was fiery, she was fun, she was sassy, she looks amazing. And she was the queen bee. Like she was, with Vince during the heyday, with
Right.
all the money and all of that. And she was really respected because she was like wife number one. And it was
It's like Sister Wives. That's your next show. The Sister Wives of Rock could be your.
Well, I actually was working on a show with Bobby Collin, who used to manage Lita Ford. I actually was developing a show around Lita Ford many years ago. I was actually developing a show around Vixen many years ago when,
Wow.
before Jan passed away, I was trying to get them all back together and put them out on the road and have them figure out their new journey together. Um,
Right.
so I was in talks with Jan, and then she passed away shortly after that. Um, but
That's
yeah,
crazy.
I'm always thinking there's a group of outlaw wives in Nashville that I had started something with Bobby Collin. I don't know if you know a name Jelly Roll,
Yeah.
Bunny and Jelly Roll. So it's that camp with Yellow Wolf and pretty amazing people. Um,
Wow.
but I've let that one go. But I am developing a show right now in the dentistry space, believe it or not. So yeah, I'd love to tell you the title because it's really telling, but that is
Well, it's got to be a point also like where it's hard or not hard. Like for there's so many reality shows, you know what I mean? There's a certain point where to stay true to who you are, just like there's so many podcasts. It's like you figure a carbon copy of yourself at one point. Like at what point, you know, or anything to keep it interesting. The challenge is got to be like, how do you something that's still reality based? That's interesting. That like, oh, it's another one, just a different background. You know what I mean?
well, for me, it always comes down to the characters.
Right.
Always about the characters. Just like with Ex-Wives of Rock, they were characters. They were wild. They were unfiltered. They were fun and beautiful. So I love to do shows like that. Um, but I'm also working on a medical show right now that isn't glitz and glammy. That is I want to say kind of a sister show of a hit show that we did called My Feet Are Killing Me on TLC. That is one of our hit shows.
I remember hearing about that show. Yeah.
Yeah, I helped cast that season one, season two, and it is a blockbuster. Like the ratings of that show are off the
Yeah.
chain. It's a gross out show, but we help people. Like we really help people that could not normally get help. So this next show that I'm working on is very similar to that, but it has to do with faces, and
Oh,
it's challenging, but we're going to help a lot of people. We already have, so
good.
that's the next one.
You have a lot of irons in the fire there. You got a lot going on.
Always, and I don't know how I make it all work, but I do. I'm grateful. It's fun. And still find time to do hair and makeup for myself. So I don't know.
You look great.
I wish I could have somebody on the road with me all the time, but I have to do it myself. But yeah, life is good. I feel like we design our lives how we want them to be, and even
Mhm.
through all the ups and downs and whatever we go through. Like I'm at a place right now. I'll be 64 in September, and like life is good. I'm
64, no way.
yeah, I was born in 1958. Holy moly. Yeah, wild. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep on rocking and rolling and doing TV until it's over.
So you can't. Right? I mean, Betty White kind of raised the bar for everybody. Between Betty White and the Rolling Stones, nobody's
Yeah,
taking any time off.
yeah. And Mick looks great. I just saw him on Instagram. He's amazing.
Right?
Yeah, he's
Still
amazing.
moves better. I mean, like when I was a kid, like remember like 40 and 45, you feel like it was the end of the world for people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now I'm like way past that. I don't feel anything like that. It's like it's so different.
We just keep going. There's no end date. There's only an expiration date when you decide there's an expiration date.
That's usually when you pass.
And that's sad, because there is still so much to do and so much fun to be had. And I believe we are here to have fun and
Yep.
follow our dreams. So
That's actually perfect words to end on. So people check out Vixen on Instagram, Facebook. I'll put the links underneath as usual. The website will all be there. And of course, you probably your personal ones too. And
Lorraine rocks, yes, and I'm on
there we go.
TikTok. Although, man, I'm trying to do 4 TikToks a day according to Gary V. That's what I'm supposed to be doing because I follow Gary V. And I haven't been on there in 2 weeks, but I just did one today because I was going to be doing interviews. I was like, I'm doing 5 interviews today. Stay tuned for details. So
TikTok seems like there's just so much. I was like, oh, it's just so much to do to promote. Like the show I should be on TikTok. And I was like, I was even on Twitter and for a while. And finally on it, Michael DeBars is like, you got to be on Twitter. I'm like, I don't want to be on Twitter. It's like you got to be on Twitter. So I'm on Twitter.
Twitter's the only one that I've stayed away from the beginning. I just didn't like the format for me. I didn't enjoy it. Instagram I think is great. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook anymore, although I did post today. And I really want to do TikTok. Actually, TikTok is a really great source for casting. We find a lot of crazy characters on TikTok.
Well, I can see that. It's very instant. It's in the moment.
And we reach out to them, and yeah, we're developing a lot of shows around a lot of TikTok people right now. So
I always
keep in
say
touch.
Twitter is like people just all sitting on a box and yelling at each other. I don't have anybody hears anybody. It's too much.
Yeah.
But all right, so check them out, and I will
Thank you so
probably
much.
checking you guys out when you guys come into Enfield. So we'll see you then. But I want to
Yay.
thanks for being on the show.
Happy
Take care.
day.
Thank you.